Good afternoon. Welcome to Convocation today. I'm glad to see so many faces here in person. Thanks for social distancing and wearing your masks. I also want to greet everyone who's watching the live stream. And in these COVID times, I'm glad that we have both options here. I'm also just thrilled to introduce our speakers today, and I'll do that in just a minute. I did want to remind you of a couple things for those of you who are in the class. First of all, if you are watching online, make sure that you fill out the attendance assignment so I know you are watching, and that is titled Emerald Attendance. For those of you watching online and in person, all the students in the class, you should fill out Emerald Response at the end of the presentation. And those are due later today or in the hours after. Also, just keep in mind that I'd love to meet you if we haven't met already, and be watching for cultural events, and let me know if you have any questions. Second, we do have some stickers for the Emerald Project, the nonprofit whose leaders we're going to listen to today. If you want one of these stickers, we can pass them around, or you can come up and get one afterwards. Also, we'd like to have everybody have a Post-it note, and if you need a pen to write with, a lot of you have that already. If you don't, though, we'll be coming around in just a minute to pass those out. And I want to save as much time as we can for the presenters, so let me do some introductions, and then we'll get started. We have two presenters here from the Emerald Project. Satin Tashnizi is the executive director and co-founder of the Emerald Project. She graduated from the University of Utah with an honors bachelor degree in political science, a bachelor's degree in international studies, and a bachelor's in Middle Eastern studies. She wrote her honors undergraduate thesis on millennial voting after working to bring the first ever voting center to her campus. And recently, her work to empower young voters was featured in Forbes. In 2015, she interned at the United States House of Representatives in Washington as a fluent Farsi speaker and the proud daughter of Iranian immigrants. She was proud to work as an interpreter serving refugees and migrants in the community. She started her career at Goldman Sachs in 2018, and she was appointed by Governor Herbert to the board of the Multicultural Commission in 2019. And I'll mention we've had speakers come from the Multicultural Commission as well in the past. In January of 2019, Satin gave a TED Talk titled How to Defeat Terrorism, where she highlighted the separation between political ideology and Islam. Satin proudly serves as the executive director and co-founder of the Emerald Project, working alongside her team to combat misrepresentations of Islam. And our other speaker today is Nora Abudan. She's the chief operating officer and co-founder of the Emerald Project. She's Utah-born, but her parents are from the Holy Land of Palestine. She graduated from the University of Utah in 2015 with a bachelor's degree in economics and a minor in Spanish. Nora is also the former reigning Miss United Nations USA and used her platform to educate youth on using their voice to make a difference. In 2016, Nora went on to become an Arabic interpreter for refugees who were seeking safety from their war-torn countries. She found her passion helping others establish a new life in America with the hope and promise of peace. Shortly after, with all the misinformation and hate that was being perpetuated about Islam and Muslims, it was time to make a change, and that's what led her to co-found the Emerald Project in 2017. In the future, she plans to be a peace ambassador for Palestine and help rebuild that war-traumatized nation, one conversation at a time. And I'll mention too, we have two other members of the Emerald Project staff here, Taha and Irina, and welcome to both of you as well. So will you join with me in welcoming Satin and Nora to the stage?
All right, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Again, I just want to, actually, let me take this off real quick. Corona times. I want to thank you guys so much for allowing us to be here today. We are so excited. For everyone tuning in from home and everyone here today, we are very, very looking forward to this in-depth discussion and participation. So participation is key. Please engage with us. That is critical for today. Again, shout out to Taha and Armina. They're on our team with Emerald as well. Taha will be taking some messages from Facebook and Armina from our Twitter, and we'll get into that a little bit later, how they're going to be utilized. Next, it's very Emerald style to do a get to know you question and get to know our audience a little bit better. But before that, I want to go into some ground rules. So the ground rules are for today: be engaged, participate, ask questions, and above all, be respectful. There might be some things that you may not agree with that you hear today from maybe one of your fellow classmates, but that's okay. This is going to be a space where you can vocalize what you believe or what you feel or what you think. So please, everyone, be respectful of that. Don't talk over other people, and just let your voice be heard today and engage. Now the good stuff. So this is the first part of the participation. It's going to be really, really serious questions right out the gate, so I hope you're ready for this. I want you to go ahead and close your eyes and raise your hand if this applies to you. And do not open your eyes until I tell you to. Can we all do that? Oh, already we got the silence? Can we do that? Okay, there we go. We awake now. So now, oh, I even got a woo. Thank you very much. The first question, please everybody close your eyes. And raise your hand if you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl in this upcoming week. Raise your hand if you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again. All right, if your hand is raised, keep it raised. If your hand is raised, keep it raised nice and high. And open your eyes, everyone, and look around. Okay, so some people think that they're not going to be back-to-back champions. Very interesting. Everybody put your hands down. Thank you. Now, close your eyes and raise your hand if you think the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. Come on, raise them high. If you didn't raise your hand for Chiefs, then you got to be Buccaneers, right? So now, if you're raising your hand, keep them raised nice and high. Open your eyes and look around. Hey, it looks like people are going for the underdog. Thank you. Now, I want you to close your eyes and raise your hand if a stranger has ever smiled at you. Close your eyes and raise your hand if a stranger has ever smiled at you. Okay, now if your hand is raised, keep it raised, open your eyes and look around. Wow, lots of commonality there. Okay, thank you. I promise this is not going to go on forever. Close your eyes and raise your hand if you ever felt judged for your beliefs. If you ever felt judged for your beliefs. If your hand is raised, keep it raised, open your eyes and look around. Very interesting. Thank you. Next question. Please close your eyes and raise your hand if you ever felt like you wanted to ask a question to an underrepresented individual or group of people but felt too scared to. Whether that's you felt you were going to be judged for your question or you just didn't feel like it was appropriate, but you just felt scared to ask an underrepresented individual group a question. Raise your hand if that applies to you. If your hand is raised, keep it raised. Open your eyes and look around. Okay, thank you. Last but not least, you guys made it. Close your eyes and raise your hand if you have ever felt like you had to be the spokesperson on behalf of your religion or what you believe. Something happens in the news, in the media, with your friends, it doesn't matter, and you felt like someone turned to you and asked you to be the spokesperson on behalf of your religion or beliefs. If your hand is raised, keep it raised. Open your eyes and look around. Okay, thank you. That is everything for the questions. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being fully engaged. Okay, we're definitely liking getting to know you better, and now we're going to dive in just a little bit deeper. So we're going to ask our main get to know you question for the event. Everyone at home, we also want you to participate. So get your Twitter and your Facebook ready. Taha's on standby on Facebook. Ermina is on, where is Ermina? There we go. Okay, I keep looking over here, and she's like, what are you looking at me for? So Ermina will be taking your answers on Twitter, For Twitter, we are at emerald_project. If you want to submit your answers on Facebook, we are Emerald Project, and you can find us based on that logo. Now, I want to get to know you by asking, and you don't have to write this right away, so let's hold on to our sticky notes. Oh, by the way, who doesn't have a sticky note or something to write with? Who does not have a sticky note or something to write with? Please raise your hand. Okay, everyone was on it like Blue Bonnet today. Thank you. The get to know you question is, what is one thing that you believed to be true and later found out it wasn't true? What is one thing you believed to be true and then later found out it wasn't true? Let me give you a personal example. I want us to interact, I want us to engage, and I want us to be vulnerable, but to ask that of you, I have to do that myself. So I will be in the hot seat. And you can laugh at me. One thing that I used to believe was true was that Las Vegas was the capital of Nevada. I don't know where I got that information from. I just think I thought it was a popular city and all my friends thought it was the capital, so I always believed that Las Vegas was the capital of Nevada. But then when I was in the 8th grade, shout out to Miss Anderson in history class, she made us memorize all the capitals of the United States, and I very quickly realized that I was wrong and that the capital of Nevada is in fact Carson City and not Las Vegas. The next thing that I believe that was true, just I want to show you this can range when you guys come to the point where you have to write it down on your sticky note. One thing that I used to believe was true and learned that later it wasn't. Without diving too deep into the details, my father always taught me that family is number one. You do anything for your family, you put everyone else to the side, because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to have your back or be there for you except family. And I did believe that was true, but later on, through some events and situations in my life, I came to realize that that wasn't the case. Sometimes your family is not always there for you. Sometimes there'll be situations where they will turn their back on you, or you won't see eye to eye, and it will be a deal breaker. So that changed for me. But I did learn that that friends can actually become your family, and that friends can have that loyalty and show that unconditional love. So anyways, get off my soapbox. That's my 2 examples. So now, for everyone at home, again, at Emerald_project for Twitter, Emerald Project for Facebook, and everyone in the audience, I want you to briefly think of something and write down what you used to believe to be true and then later learned it was not true. And also be thinking in the back of your head, don't write this down quite yet, but just kind of how I said, with Las Vegas, I kind of got it from my mind. It was a popular city. And then I had the belief about family was number one because of my dad. Be thinking about, where did you get this information from? Where did you get the source to believe that this is true? So I'll go ahead and give you a couple of moments here, and then myself and the Emerald team will kind of be walking around. Be sure for people here in the audience today to turn to your neighbor. I know that we're social distancing. If you want, you can keep your mask on, but just talk about it with your neighbor. Don't tell them the source of where you believe this from. Just tell them something that you used to believe and that it's no longer true. Go ahead. And I have the prompt on the screen as well. And remember, please discuss it with your neighbors.
But go ahead and talk about it amongst yourself. You don't have to be quiet. We're meant to kind of have a lively discussion. I know it's weird.
What are you guys talking about? That's definitely a good one. I like that one.
Let's get some good ones. What'd you guys get? They're going to ask to share later, so if you don't mind sharing.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And you're like, I've heard some pretty
That's so
cool
funny.
ones,
I love that. Will you share your example?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
good. I thought when I was actually same age, I thought parents had to even like marry and that's all. Like that. So like, there's a girl at my daycare who her parents were married, and I was like, how did this happen? I need answers.
Really?
I love
so it
that.
can be
Thank
anything.
you.
It can totally
Be
range.
sure to share that one. If they don't get the mic, I'll make sure you guys get the mic. Thank you.
Hey, can I go ahead and eavesdrop?
Sure. Do you guys get some good ones? Can I hear about them?
Nice.
And
Do you
this
mind
is
sharing?
awkward. I'm Satin. Nice to meet you. I know you don't know me, and I'm wearing a mask.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Girl, I forget about Iowa all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, where it's like out of sight, out of mind. And you're like, oh, wait, Iowa is a state.
So the prompt is more like, is there something that
that's
you
crazy.
knew to be true, like a fact, and then you found out later that it wasn't
That's awesome.
a true
Yeah, well, thank
statement?
you for sharing. How about yourself? Oh, wow. That's a big one. No, but you know what? It ranges, right? Not everything has to be so huge as far as what we believe goes, right? It can be little things, it can be big things. So that's incredible. Yeah, I might ask you to share that one if that's okay with you. Okay, do you mind if I just say someone in the audience said that? Okay, cool. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Right.
How's it going over here? Have you guys been sharing?
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Would you?
Oh,
we're
no.
gonna ask
Okay,
people to
looks like
share.
there's
You don't have to if you don't feel
maybe you guys
comfortable,
can pair up
but
or something. You can stay
that's
in the
amazing.
seat if you
don't
want,
mind
but
sharing, that would
looks like there's some
be
people
awesome.
also
It
by
just-
themselves
Nora's
as well.
gonna ask people from the audience to
How about
kind
you
of
guys?
share
Can I
their
eavesdrop?
examples. That's awesome. Thank you.
Love it. I heard that one too. Yeah, it's so relatable. I never even thought of that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's hella true. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel so creepy. Hi guys. You guys don't know
Do you guys
me,
mind
but
if I
I'm gonna
eavesdrop?
Thank you so much.
All right, what discussions do we have over here?
Hi guys.
Okay, what is something that you believe to be true?
I was just curious if I could hear your guys' answers.
Oh wow. That's crazy. When was the turning point for you?
Yeah. Yeah, believe it. I grew up with that.
Yeah, because you used to believe like everything that they had, all the gains they had, was because of the hard work that they did. Do you mind if I select you to share? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. She's gonna ask people to share later.
All right. I heard some great discussions. Oh, my bad. I heard some great discussions, and thank you so much for sharing with me for those individuals that did. So, one person wasn't comfortable being like highlighted as far as who said it, but I did hear something that really struck me. They said, I believed when my parents told me that they had my best interests always. They believed that their parents had their best interests in mind, and they later came to understand that that's not always the case. So thank you to that person. You know who you are, for sharing that and being vulnerable. And it can also be something smaller, like my Nevada incident. Yes, I have a gentleman who told me, he's like, just so you know, people in Nevada want to be, like it wants to be called Nevada, not Nevada. So thank you. Who else would like to share? I heard a lot of neighbors talking. Yes. What is your name, miss? Aspen. Okay.
I believed that having a brain injury or mental illness would hold me back from accomplishing what I would like to accomplish. But so far, I'm doing just fine with that.
Yeah. I think that is absolutely beautiful and powerful that you shared that. Something like a mental illness, feeling like that's going to hold you back, and you've come to find out that that's not the case. You're doing the thing. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yes, you in the back. And please state your name as well, please.
My name's McKay Lindo. So the thing I used to think was when I was like 5 years old, I used to think babies came from just kissing. And so I would like be eating my cereal or whatnot, and I'd see my dad kiss my mom before he went to work. And I was always like, when's the baby coming? Like, is my mom gonna get pregnant from this? So.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And then later you realize it's from kissing and hugging. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing. There was someone over here that told me something. The Santa one, can you share? Yes.
Well, growing up, I used to believe in Santa Claus, but later I found out all those presents are from my parents.
Whoa, you're telling me Santa doesn't exist?
No, sorry.
We need to have a convo after. Thank you. Thank you very much. Another one that I want to call out as well, this gentleman right here in this row. You said your name was? James, okay.
So my name is James Ebo, and one thing I figured out in the fitness industry, like higher up, I always thought that was all natural hard work, but when you kind of dive into it, a lot of them use like PEDs to like help perform them get bigger and stronger, and that's one kind of thing that really shocked me when I found out. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that's kind of tough too. So correct me if I'm wrong, you want to go in the fitness industry and make that your career and your path, correct? Yeah, so how hard is it to have a passion and think that it's done through hard work and determination and all the results are natural and real, and then come to find out some of the people on top are cheating the system? That's really, really rough. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and pivot. This is going to be very, very quick because we have a lot to get through still. So now, on that same sticky note, I also want you to collaborate with your neighbors. Oh, also, before I do that, did we get anything from Twitter or Facebook? Ermina, Taha? Okay, great. Thank you for the ones at home.
So we had a comment. When I was a child, my mom always warned me not to swallow gum or it would be stuck in my body forever.
I believed that one too. Or like if you swallow a watermelon seed, that you would grow a watermelon in your body. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Who was that? Nicole Ann. Thank you, Nicole Ann at home for sharing. Ermina, did we get anything? Okay. Taha, did we have anything else from Facebook? Okay, great. Thank you so much. And those of you at home, don't be shy. Submit your answers. We got Taha and Ermina taking care of you. Okay, now for this next section, those of you at home and those of you here, quickly jot down, where did you come to believe what you wrote? Was it a family member? Was it friends? Was it, you can't remember. Whatever it is, just jot it down. Where did you learn what you believed? Not who corrected it, but where did you learn that source of the belief that you later learned was not true? And I'll give you guys 30 seconds for that. And the prompt is up on the screen as well. Make sure you're sharing with your neighbors because I'm definitely going to ask about it. Please share with your neighbors. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up. And those of you at home, please submit your answers at Emerald_project and Emerald Project. We would love to hear where you got your sources of information from as well. So now go ahead, whether it's the neighbor that you told or yourself, just go ahead and shout it out. Where did you learn your information from? Family, okay, great. What else? Classmates? Keep going. Social media? Someone said movies? What else, guys? Doctors? Okay, thank you. What else? Teachers. But not Professor Allred, right? Common sense? Okay, any more? Just shout them out, whether it's you or a neighbor that you talk to. Music, okay. We got any more? From Twitter or Facebook? Politicians, okay. Okay, any more?
A therapist.
Oh, I already put therapist. News, okay. All right, this seems like a pretty good list, pretty long list. Okay, great. Thank you so much for participating in that section as well. Taha, Armina, do we have anything else from the viewers at home? Okay, great. Go ahead and give yourselves a round of applause for that. Okay, now I'm sure that you're getting a little bit sick of me, so I will go ahead and hand it off to Satin Tashnizi. Please welcome her on stage.
Thank you, guys. Oh, can I have the clicker? Yeah. That was an awesome, I love the woos going on. You guys are awesome. It was nice. I'm sorry earlier I was like super awkward. I was like, hey, can you tell me what your sticky note said? And you guys are like, I don't know you. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing. All right, so thank you so much for sharing. Please keep the engagement up. This Emerald style is to have a conversation. Normally, Emerald Project hosts their events in circles so we can see each other, talk to each other, interact with each other. So please, I know it's hard with COVID and social distancing, but if you could help us overcome kind of that distance and still engage, that would be awesome. So I want to kind of pivot from our get to know you question. And I know you guys, elephant in the room, we are an organization. Our mission statement is to combat misrepresentation of Islam. But I want you guys to share with me everything that you know, think you know, have learned about Islam. I know it's kind of intimidating because I look Muslim, but I want you guys to feel comfortable to just shout out anything you know. Facts you know, things that you've learned, nothing is going to offend us. We're here to have a conversation and learn. So if I could hear from even everybody in the room, I would love that. So go ahead and shout out some things you know about Islam. I know this is like super intimidating. You're like, mosque? Is that what you said? Awesome. Denominations. Denomination. Didn't tell you I could spell it, I just told you I'd ask you. What else? Don't be shy. Biggest religions, Quran, good job. Quran. Biggest religions in the world. Okay, put biggest RW. You and I both know what that means. All right, what else? Their women are pretty. Okay, okay, well. Our business cards are up front. Okay. Women are pretty. I am definitely going to remember that one and repeat at other events. No pork, no alcohol. Yes. That made USA a little challenging, but Utah's easier. Oh, no pork, no alcohol. Good. What else? Civil unrest. Did you guys pick that up from past, or did you just notice that about Nora? Sorry, okay, I'm ready. Right, what else?
Many prayers throughout the day.
Many prayers throughout the day, okay. Cool, what else? Hijab, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, you can shout them out, I apologize. Raise your hands again. Yeah. Abrahamic religions, very good. What else? Prophet Muhammad. Abrahamic. What else, guys? You guys can shout them out. Fasting. Oh, yeah, we sure know about that one. Not even water. Hashtag not even water. Women can't drive?
On the live chat, we had women don't have equal rights, question mark.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Women don't have, I'm going to put equal ER and put question mark after it. Very good. Anything else? Pray towards Mecca. Very nice. Ramadan. Very good. Pray Mecca. This is such a great marker. I might take it. Okay. Are there any of them that you guys are curious about? Hint, hint. My whole thing is like terrorism and the ideology. Anything you think you know about, like stuff you've seen on TV? I'm not trying to like lure you, but I want to make it safe for you to comment. Sorry? Okay. Jihad? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Jihad. Cool. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. This is a pretty comprehensive list. I really appreciate that, guys. Okay, so I know earlier when we did our get to know you question, Nora asked you guys she asked okay, where did you guys learn? Where did you guys hear about that? So I'm going to do kind of a similar exercise. And I know I don't want specific answers to specific one of these questions, but just tell me generally, for those of you who gave me an answer, where did you first learn about that, hear about that? Did someone teach you? Where did you hear that information? Just shout those out too. Don't be shy. Africa? News. Where else? School. Books. Or if you're me, Audible. What else?
I remember a TV show right after 9/11 called 24.
Oh, yes. Tell me where the bomb is. Yeah. TV show with Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland's son, just to clarify. What else? Where else? Huh?
I'd say video games.
Video games. That's a really good one. Video games. Oh, Nora wants me to tell you that I played GTA. I also played and beat the Assassin's Creed game in Odyssey. Just want you guys to know that. Yeah, it was a pandemic, so that's all I had to do. You're like, oh, are you working? Yeah, totally on. Yeah. TikTok. Okay. From Facebook. Thank you. What was that? Social media. Very nice. Where else? Yeah. People from the Middle East. Very good. Yeah, if any of you went to Logan High from 2009 to 2012, that was me in that class. The person from the Middle East who answered the questions was not qualified to answer, but I was the only one there. So, anything else? Where else did you kind of hear that information? Family. Politicians. Oh. Ooh. Very nice. All right, am I missing any that you guys want to add on there? Anything from Twitter, Facebook, anything else? From Muslims? Cool. Sorry, there we go. Anything else? Cool, I appreciate it. I don't know how well you can see this, but I want you guys to kind of like think for a second. So if we look at the list on this side of the board, here we have family, classmates, social media, personal experiences, movies, doctors, teachers, common sense, music. On this side we have Muslims, Africa, news, school, books, 24, the TV show with Keith Sutherland, video games, TikTok, social media, family, politicians, people from the Middle East, books. Do we notice anything about these two lists? They're pretty similar. Do we all kind of agree? Do they all seem kind of similar to us with a few little exceptions? So tell me, what does that mean? Can we, like, what does that mean for us that because remember, these were the sources for things that we had learned that ended up not being true. What does it mean that the sources here are similar to our sources here? I'm sorry? They're probably not good sources, or potentially they could be inaccurate sources. Because, I mean, I went to school for a long time, and I did learn a couple things that added a little bit of value, but that doesn't mean everything is accurate, right? So is it possible that the information that we get about Islam could be inaccurate from the sources that we interact with every single day? Is it possible? Is it conceivable? Yes, no, maybe? I heard an absolutely. Tell me more. You said absolutely that had a little bit of confidence. Tell me more. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. What was your name? Joseph, thank you so much for sharing that. So there are some commonly held beliefs that we have even in our culture and society. I know that even Noor and I, as Muslims growing up in America, that we actually kind of commonly held to, that may not actually be accurate, because all these people that you're interacting with as Muslims, we interact with them too. So it's possible that that might not be 100% in accurate information. So tell me, is that bad? Like, does it matter? How does that make you feel knowing, I know this is kind of like a weird question, but I'm serious, genuinely asking, how does it make you feel that there might be things that you may believe and know about Islam that may or may not be true? Does anyone feel comfortable enough sharing? Curious. Good.
I think that's honestly kind of how it is with a lot of things, not even just learning about Islam or Muslims in general. Mm-hmm. We gotta be more careful as a society to check our sources for information, make sure it's credible.
That's a really good point. What's your name?
Peyton.
Peyton, like Peyton Manning, but without the Manning. Okay. Guys, I thought that was so funny, but it actually was not as funny out of my mouth as it was in my head. Anyway, that's a really good point that you're making. So it's not just about our topic of Islam that our Emerald Project is talking about that's important. There's a lot of different things out there. We need to do better as a country and a society to check our sources. Why is that? What are the consequences of misinformation? Think back to even the answer you put on your get to know you questions. Can some of you share with me what are some of the consequences of the misinformation? It spreads fast, so other people will have that misinformation. Misunderstanding. Yeah, I remember in your case, I'm sure that what were some of the, if you don't mind sharing, How was that for you? Like, what were some of the consequences of the misinformation? In some cases, doctors told you.
Let's see. Being told that you cannot do something just because of what is supposedly holding you back, that just, there has to be some form of adapt and conquering towards what you would like to do, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, there's severe consequences. Yes, Taha.
Misleading others.
Misleading others. So leading other people astray from. So those are some of the consequences. Remind me of your name. Kissing babies. What was it? McKay. You're like, McKay? I'm kissing babies? What? So tell me, so I'm imagining, tell me, how was that like? Thinking, like, what were the consequences of the misinformation you had at the old age of 5 years old?
Maybe you're just surprised when you learn the truth. Like, I don't know.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
100%. I actually shared this with him too. So when I was a kid, I thought you had to be married to have kids, and that was what the process was. And so in daycare, I met a cute girl who was my friend, and I found out her parents were not married. And so I was like, whoa, how did this happen? Where did you come from? Because what I was told, was that you had to be married. Anyway, so consequences can be anything from being kind of embarrassed or kind of shocked when you hear the truth, or, you know, in some more significant cases, leading other people astray. But what about with Islam? What we're here to talk about today. What are some of the consequences of misinformation when it comes to inaccurate information about Islam?
Intolerance.
I'm sorry?
Intolerance.
Intolerance. Very good. Go ahead, McKay.
In my English class last semester, we watched a video, a TED Talk of a black guy who met with one of the leaders from the KKK, and kind of how they became friends, even despite their different beliefs. And his main point was that we tend to fear the things we don't understand. And so that's why there's a lot of violence or misunderstandings. It's just because of the lack of understanding.
Yeah, thank you, BK. In fact, I think Nora and I share those sentiments so strongly because we understand that we fear things we don't understand, that we don't understand. The whole point of Emerald Project for us was to do exactly that, is to provide a space where we can foster an environment for understanding. Thank you so much for sharing, McKay. So the consequences to the misrepresentation of Islam, there are many. It's really diverse. It can be bullying in school because you're different and you're being bullied for something that you are not. You don't have the tools to stand up for yourself. It can be being asked a few too many questions by the police because the police might be afraid of you for something that you're not. It could be people shutting you out and rejecting you, telling you that you don't belong here because they believe you're something that you're not. It can be in situations where it's not even a person telling you, but leftover marks from people who made it very clear that you don't belong here. It could be another consequence of misinformation of Islam is one day someone walks into your place of worship and shoots every Muslim in sight because they believe things about you that are not accurate. It can be the whole world turning its back on your Muslim country, despite the fact that you are escaping from terrorists who misrepresented your religion in the first place. And it could be your most precious part of your life washing up on shore because you were trying to fight to get your child to escape the hands of terrorism and ISIS, who misrepresent, through misinformation, created an organization that kills more Muslims than any non-Muslim. We are not here today to accuse anyone or blame anyone or make anybody feel guilty or for some of the images that I showed you on the screen. It's clear that the misrepresentation of Islam has really severe and deep consequences. And it is important that we do our part to make sure that we do our part to prevent something like this happening. I'll share with you, the reason Emerald Project even came into existence is because one morning 4 years ago, Nora and I woke up and we saw our presidential candidate say that we need to ban Muslims from entering the United States until we figure out what the hell is going on. Needless to say that based on the images and information that we've shared with you today, we were confused and we felt so rejected. The interesting piece was that when we went into work the subsequent days, people that we loved, people that we respected, people who were smart, people who were amazing, outstanding citizens and leaders in our community, held some of the beliefs that facilitated a Muslim ban. And Nora and I were shocked. So we wanted to find a way to make sure that those people who were kind, who loved us, who just didn't know the real story, had a way to find out. And so I'm gonna tell you that I know you guys are in Ephraim, Utah, and some of these images are from thousands of miles of where you are, but you are a crucial piece to this puzzle. So I appreciate you guys attending today. The answer to preventing misinformation is accurate resources. Just like Peyton here, my friend said earlier, we need to do more as a society to check our resources, to make sure that we're promoting accurate information. Now, it's not always easy, I can tell you, and Admina and Taha will be the first to stand up and tell you finding accurate information about Islam isn't always the easiest thing to do, but there is always a way. The first resource I put up here is our Holy Quran. That's our holy book, similar to the Bible in Christianity, the Book of Mormon in the LDS Church, the Torah in Judaism. The reason I included that is even though many of you don't speak Arabic, which is the language that this book is written in, it's important for you to know that we have a perfect source in our religion that we are instructed to go back to for accurate information. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not kill yourselves. That is what I go to and look back to at the verse in the Quran to know that suicide bombing is not permissible. There are sources out there that are accurate. The second source I have here is the Australian Federation of Islamic Societies. It's an organization out of Australia. They have a website with a lot of information on there, and it has been verified by Emerald Project's board in case you guys are looking to search up some answers. The third piece is Emerald Project. So we have a lot of information on our website and our social media that you can look to, but more importantly, we're not Islamic scholars. So if you ever have a question, you can always go onto our website, log in and submit your question, and we're committed to getting an accurate answer back to you. And finally, this is the most applicable piece. There might be times where you may not have access to a resource, and that's okay. Nora and I encounter this all the time. We have questions all the time. My ask is of you, every time you come into contact with a Muslim or a topic of Islam, or you see something on TV or on 24 or on CNN or on NPR or in your video games or in your books or in your movie theaters or at your grandmother's kitchen table, hesitate. Observe your thoughts. Is this accurate? Am I getting the full story? What does Islam actually say? You may not have the answer right away, but I guarantee you, the fact that you're thinking and questioning all the information you receive is a giant step in the direction of combating misinformation, because you're more likely to ask a question than make a judgment. Thank you so much for your time.
Some of you will need to go to class, but thank you for being here. Thank you. If you have individual questions, I think it'd be okay if you came down and asked those. Would that be okay? So thank you for coming this week. We'll see you next week.